안녕하세요, 여러분. 저는 소라입니다.
And I'm Ed, and you're listening to the
Vamos a Jeju podcast.
하나, 둘, 셋.
안녕하세요. So today we're gonna start the food series in Jeju, Ed's
Yay.
favorite things to do while traveling. So you remember that in the previous episode we were talking about the black pork streets, which is really famous in Jeju. And it can be a tourist trap if you go like these kind of places. But there's actually another way to enjoy this chewy, juicy black pork, which is the butcher shop barbecue. Have you tried this butcher shop barbecue before, Ed?
I was just about to ask you, what is a butcher shop barbecue?
You know what is butcher shop, right?
Of course, yes.
Uh-huh. So butcher shop barbecue is like butcher shop and then restaurant together. You go in and you're gonna see like refrigerator full of the meat and then the scale. So you just need to choose the meat you like and then go to the counter with the scale and then weigh them and then pay for the meat. And usually you go up to second floor, which is the restaurant. And then the restaurant will set up the table for you. And then you just grill it there in the restaurant yourself.
Okay, so parts of that sounds very familiar to me. The part that I guess it's new to me, in fact, I've not done it before, is walking up to a butcher and then picking your meats and then cooking it right away. That part is new. And I have to say, even though I speak some Korean, that sounds a bit intimidating. Yeah. So maybe you can talk us through what that whole experience is like, because to me, that might be confusing.
It can be confusing at first, but once you like try this and then get the idea, it's gonna be very like comfortable doing it.
So, like for a non-Korean speaker, how do you even know what meats to pick? And also, how do you know how much to pay for it? Like, I guess the whole thing sounds so foreign to me that it is, if it does, like I said, feels intimidating. And I am very familiar with Korea and I speak some Korean. And even then, I feel like, ooh, this sounds a bit scary.
You should really try with me. Anyway, to choose a good meat, I think is like worldwide same knowledge. So when you see the meat, you can see the freshness. You just pick, look, something looks like very fresh. Korean eat more pork than beef. For the pork first, of course, we like samgyeopsal. I think even though you don't
Three-layer.
know about even though you don't know about Korean meat, you have heard of 삼겹살 or 오겹살, right? So 삼겹살 is 3-layered meat, 오겹살 5-layered meat, like let's 목살, the neck, yeah, that one like less fat. Those kind of
and for people listening who are like from not from Korea, which is everybody, the samgyeopsal and the ogyopsal, you can think of it as like the same cut of meat that they make bacon from.
Right. But 오겹살 actually have like 5-layer and that, like including the skin. So you can actually see the black fur in it.
Yes, and I still think it's gross.
And then like for some Korean, they really, really love it. And then we can actually order only the skin. And we think it's very delicious because Koreans really like the chewy texture. The skin has lots of collagen. So it's good for your skin.
Right. But you gotta cook that quite a long time, right?
And also for the beef, we don't really do like sirloin, tenderloin. We just put like, I'm not sure how to call it in English. 갈비살, 부채살.
Yeah, so kalbi is rib, so it's rib meat.
갈비살 is rib meat?
Kalbi is rib, and then sal is meat. So I guess it's rib meat.
Let me just check. 잠시만요. 맞아요. rib meat 맞아요. rib meat 맞아요.
네.
So
똑똑해요.
what Koreans like is the rib meat or flat iron steak.
Flat iron steak.
And also chalk flat tail and hanging tender, skirt steak, something like this.
Okay, what is it in Korean?
갈비살, 부채살, 살치살, 토시살, 치마살,
Okay.
like many different,
All
right?
right. But beef is usually more expensive, right?
Yeah, as you know, like in Korea, beef is a lot more expensive than the pork, so we eat beef in a special occasion.
In the last episode, we talked about how most people from Jeju just eat regular pork. But then with beef, I've also seen like a gung or
Mhm.
hanu, which is like Korean hanu, Hanguk, yeah, hanu versus like imported. Like I guess hanu is more expensive
Hanu,
than.
right. Hanu is a lot more expensive than imported beef, like from Australia or America.
Right.
We usually import beef from those two countries.
And the hanu, like, does it taste a lot better? Like,
I
I'm
think so, because I'm not a big fan of beef.
I'm a big fan of value for money. For me to pay a lot of money for hanu Korean beef, it would have to be like much better than regular beef. I guess one day I'll try and I'll let you know. But I'm definitely a huge fan of value for money.
Then I think you will like the pork better. Usually we pay right after choosing the meat. You pay for the meat and then you go up to the restaurant and there's a fee for like table setting. Usually like 3,000 for one person. So you can have like lots of lettuce, like many different paste sauce and the grilling setup.
That's like about $2 or so. So $2 for the table setting to get the side dishes and the wraps and stuff like that. It does not include the meat. The meat you've already paid for separately. And so if you want more meat, I guess it's easier to go back downstairs.
I think it's easier to go back downstairs.
And then point and
choose
go,
the meat.
이거 주세요. Gotcha.
Scale and then pay, right?
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, the next question I have for you, Sora, is why is it that people have to cook the meats themselves? Like in some K-barbecue restaurants I've been to, like the staff actually cook for you.
I mean, for Korean barbecue, usually it was like self-cooking. But nowadays we are having more Korean barbecue place with staff cooking because it's changing. So like some people, they like to have someone to do it for them. But I think in the past, like usually we have like self-cooking for those Korean barbecue places. I guess in Korea, people like to share everything together and then they get all together and then one or two will grill and then talk and then like follow your pace for eating, talking, drinking. Because usually this place, people drink a lot.
Right. Yes, I've noticed. I think the youngest person, the maknae, starts the cooking first, and then once that person gets tired, hands off to the next youngest person. Then the oldest or the most senior person in hierarchy almost never does the cooking. Is that right, or am I misinterpreting?
I think so. I think it's true. Because usually, like in Korean society, we have the invisible hierarchy. You know that, right? And like for Koreans, we all know that hierarchy, but we don't say it. So when we go to eat like in Korean barbecue, we know who will do it. Even though we never say it, we know.
Right. One thing that my older son, who's like 33 years old already, he's always asked me like why the heck will we go to a Korean barbecue where I have to pay to cook myself? I can just do that at home. And I was like, yeah, but it's not the same. But I wasn't able to explain it to him. How would you describe that? Self-service is actually not a bad thing.
I think it's about Korean society. For us, we don't like to get too much attention. So for example, when I do the tours for Korean groups outside Korea, when we go to restaurant, the waiters come to you and ask you, are you okay? Everything is good. And they like to clean your dishes fast, right? That's the manner. But for Korean, they feel kind of uncomfortable that waiters come to you and they clean the dishes very fast. They feel like they feel pressure to leave. So I think in Korean culture, we are like we are good. You don't have to give us like lots of attention. So I guess it's like different role. So the staff, they are focusing on like fire for the barbecue or like serving stuff.
One thing I noticed about Koreans wanting to have like more autonomy or control over like their eating situation is that there's a lot of self-service bars too. So like maybe the staff will bring you the first round of panchan, side dishes, but then everything else is going to be self-pu. If you want a refill of your kimchi or other side dishes, you gotta actually get up and go get it. And in many places, you have to go get your own water as well. And so there's this whole culture of self-service, and I actually like that. I don't like having wait stuff in my face the whole time. It's like, I'm good, leave me alone. And on the flip side, they also don't try and pressure you to lead. However, when it's run by older people, they will go like, yeah, it's time for you to go if you hang out for too long.
No.
So, yes, if the owners are old and they run a place, when it's getting crowded and you have no nunchi, like you're still there, they will say, time to go, time to get out here. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think it's all about nunchi.
Yeah, for the self-service bar as well, we don't want to ask the waiter like refill the banchan like side dishes many times. It's kind of like 눈치 보여. 눈치 보여요. Like I feel guilty. I feel sorry for that. So for me, it's better me going there and then get my stuff by myself.
We should probably say what nunchi is. The way I've learned to think of nunchi in my brain is like hey, read the room. Like get a sense of what's happening. So I read the room. So if you have an ability to read the room, then it's like you don't want to bother the staff for every single little refill of your water. So to avoid burdening the staff, you go do it yourself. So have some nunchi and just get your own stuff. And so that ties back into cooking your own food because you don't want to bother the staff for every single little thing. So have some nunchi, read the room, and cook your own food. And on top of that, you get to bond and talk with your family or friends as well.
So I think like nunchi has in the restaurant, like this Korean barbecue, I guess there's two meaning. Like I don't want to bother the waiter and I don't want the waiter bother me. You got it.
Yeah. Yeah, nunchi goes both ways, you know? Like read the room both ways. Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Okay, so we talk about nunchi and being able to read the room, but I guess not all Koreans have nunchi because when I went to like Ilpum Sundubu, one of my favorite restaurants, where there's like a huge buffet bar, and you can take all kinds of side dishes. There's a huge sign that says, "Take only what you can eat" in Korean. This is not a tourist place. This is like only Koreans go there mostly, and so that suggests to me that there have been Koreans who have taken so much buffet food that that they had leftovers, and therefore the sign. So that tells me that, hey, you know, nunchi is not an automatic thing for Koreans.
It is not.
So maybe you can, for travelers and visitors who want to kind of have more nunchi and to be able to read the room, give us some advice or tips on how we can approach this in a butcher shop barbecue.
So I think the best thing is just ask a question if you need. Because Koreans are usually kind to a foreigner. So you can just ask a question. Or if you are too intimidated to ask a question, just just observe, just check what locals do. And then you can just follow what they do. That's how you read the room. And the other thing, you can just start with small portion. You can always add more meat or more side dish. As Ed mentioned, lots of people just get a lot of food and then left over gonna be, a lot. So yes, it's better to get small portion and then refill many times. No one's gonna say something for like 10 times refill.
So we talked about, getting a small amount of side dishes and then just getting more refills. And also we talked about observing other customers and seeing what they do. What else? What other practical advice do we have for our listeners?
If it's your first time grilling the barbecue, you might not be perfect. And it's okay because this is a time to enjoy and try a new thing. So just try, small bits, and then you get used to how to grill like perfectly for your taste. So just enjoy.
So I was waiting for you to say something, but you never got around to it. And that is
Boya.
this concept of meat scissors.
Ah, right.
It's a
I
very Korean
forgot.
thing. And in the West, it is very gauche, as in it is very uncool to cut your meat while you're cooking it. Like when they cook a steak, it is one big piece. And the whole point is you want to maintain the juiciness of it. And so when you cook steak in the West, you will sear it on one side. When it's formed a little a crust, then you flip it and you sear the other side. And that way you keep the juices inside. And even after you're done cooking, you will actually set it aside to rest for like 5-10 minutes, waiting for the temperature of the meat to cool down. That way, when you cut it, when it's ready to eat, the juiciness doesn't come pouring out so quickly because it's now cooled down. That's the Western idea of cooking meat or barbecue. In Korea, it's the exact opposite. In Korea, when you're cooking it, you are actually cutting it while you're cooking it. If you're from a country that's used to like big size steaks, you go like, what are these people doing? They are they are destroying the steak. Do you have any thoughts as to the idea of cutting your steak while you're cooking it, why it works?
I'm not sure, but Koreans usually don't like to have like one big steak. Yeah, we like to cook properly, but for Korean beef, even if you cook it, it's still very tender and juicy.
And I think Koreans and East Asians in general, I guess, they don't like to see red blood and stuff in the food, right? Whereas like in the West, it's like, I want my steak done medium rare or rare. That's another cultural difference too. For us to cook the meat properly in Korea and cook it quicker, you want to cut it. When you cut it, you increase the surface area to cook at, and then people aren't waiting around for like 15 minutes to eat. It's like much faster. On top of that, you get rid of any of the redness and the blood and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's another cultural divide. And on top of that, the quality of the meats are usually very good. And so it'll be very flavorful. It'll be very tasty.
Yeah, for the scissors, because for me, it's so normal. So I forgot to talk about this. It's obvious.
And
of course.
you also forgot to talk about this amazing thing that you pulls down to absorb the smoke.
Ah, yes. We always have one like smoke pipe above the table, so you don't get like much smoke from the fire.
Right. And even though the smoke is, a lot of smoke is sucked up, there's still a lot of smells from the cooking. And so if you're coming in with your jacket or your clothes or your whatever, oftentimes the chair that you sit on, if you can lift it, and there's a hidden compartment, hidden for travelers, not for Koreans, hidden where you can put your clothes and everything, and then you close the seat back up and now you sit on the seat. So that compartment is, I want to say, kind of airtight. And so at least the smells of the cooking doesn't get into everything. Of course, in the clothes you're wearing, but at least not in your jacket and other stuff like that. So that's something else to look out for. The more you know. And so, yeah, the scissors at the Korean barbecue is such a Korean thing that I think anyone who's been there the first time, you may not even know to use, unless you've watched K-dramas. But other than that, if you see a pair of scissors, you may not even know what it's for. And so, yeah, the scissors is your friend, my friend, when you go to a Korean barbecue. And don't forget that you can find our trip planner to help DIY travelers at vamosjeju.com/trip. That's VAMOSAJEJU jeju.com/trip.
One more thing, did you know it's very easy to share our show with your friends? On Apple Podcasts, just tap on the horizontal three dots on the top right corner and tap on the share show icon. And on Spotify, you can find the three horizontal dots near the top right under our show art, and you will see the share icon.
Yep, and with that, all that's left for us to do is to say
안녕.
안녕.
하나, 둘, 셋.
Get all our latest articles, videos, and resources on Jeju DIY travel, culture, and history at vamosajeju.com. That's VAMOSAJEJU.com. If you would like to get updates about Jeju or even Korea sent straight to your email, sign up for our dispatches at vamosajeju.com/update. And finally, the best way for a new podcast like this to grow is organically. So if you found this episode helpful, please share us with a friend. And who knows, maybe you'll Vamos a Jeju together this year. The Vamos or Jeju podcast is part of the Passport Optional Network.